Hey, how's it going?
What's happening, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm here to talk about the brand new live album from Armored Saint, Carpe Noctem, which I've had for a while now, and I also see it's available on Spotify as well, but coming out in a physical release on the 24th. And I gotta say, I'm really happy to see a brand new live album from Armored Saint in 2017.
Well, we are too. We think it sounds awesome. We're proud of it. The production's great. It certainly captures us, I think, quite well. And live records are maybe it's a throwback thing. I guess I don't know. I feel that way, especially after talking to people lately when doing interviews. So, we loved live. I mean, so many live records are such an impact on us as musicians developing and growing up, and everything from Kiss Alive to Strangers in the Night and Unleashed in the East and Made in Japan and Budokan and Live and Dangerous. I mean, I live for all those records. So it's cool to finally put out another live record. I know it's short in terms of the amount of songs. We've had some people complain about that, and we do apologize for that. But it was only a couple shows that we had to choose from. So. And one of those was the Wacken Festival, where we only played like 8 songs. So we wanted to make sure there weren't too many flubs, and so we only had like 2 shows to choose from. But like I said, it sounds great. We're real proud of it, and we're excited for it to come out.
Well, I guess for me, being a fan, I would rather take quality over quantity in this case. And all these songs here are just amazing to hear in the live aspects, and it sounds real and natural. And I would rather have that than a full-length double live Armored Saint album that you guys aren't proud of. I would rather have something like this.
Right, I agree, and I always say quality over quantity. Yes, I agree. I say that statement often, and I guess the one thing that eventually maybe we could do, and I've just talked to Joey recently about it, is maybe do like a live DVD filmed somewhere, because it's probably the one thing of our whole combination of product that we've never really done. And we put out a couple DVDs and videos back in the day of like a bunch of bootlegs and stuff, but we never done a show. So maybe when we do that, then we'll like have a full length set. But I think of this as something kind of feeling like a throwback type of record. And, I look at Unleashed in the East, Judas Priest, one of my favorite records of all time. And there's only 9 songs, so hey.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, with the whole quality over quantity thing, but that's the great thing about Armored Saint. It doesn't matter if you're doing an opening set, it doesn't matter if you're doing a headlining set. You guys are always on fire. And the one time I had for a real experience was Prague Power 2015, when I finally got the chance to see you guys for the first time. And at the end, for Rain of Fire, you started going all around the arena and singing, and you were singing right next to me during the chorus, and that was just one of the greatest moments of my life, having you right next to me singing Rain of Fire.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a great show, and I remember doing that. I just kind of said, I'm going out there. It looks like, because the venue is such a cool place, so I was like, I want to go check it out and see what it looks like on, from the crowd's perspective. And I know that when I do that, sometimes people get, it's like, whoa, what's happening here? We did a club show recently in Milwaukee at a place called the Metal Grill on this last tour that we did, and it was tiny. And I went out in the crowd, and the band didn't know. Like I came on, it was like a musical intro, and then when this vocal started, I walked into the crowd, and I was singing in the crowd, and some people didn't even know, and the band didn't know where I was, and I was just in the crowd singing, kind of in a mysterious way. And people realized, what the heck? So. You just got to be careful sometimes, because like Prague Power, it was a bigger venue, and sometimes you're getting the slap back from the PA, so you might be a little off time. So hopefully I wasn't. Hopefully I was on at least. But it was fun to do that.
Oh, absolutely, and it's fun for the crowd experience too, because it's one thing to just be on stage and playing the show, but it's another thing to really get out there and interact like that, especially when it's unexpected.
Well, Armored Saint's always been one of those kind of bands where we always feel like we're part of the audience. We just, we're a personal bunch of group guys, and we kind of we're just music fans ourselves, and we just kind of always feel like we're we're like the fans, and so to do that, to go out there and to kind of be part of that, the energy, it's a cool feeling. It's fun, and I like doing that a lot. I have done it a lot, so and I probably will again.
Oh, awesome. Well, now that Armored Saints is back with full force and you guys have a couple new albums under your belts and it's really getting back together, how does it feel after all this time in 2017 to be able to promote Armored Saint with the way it is now?
Well, it's great. We're honored that people still care, quite frankly. This is a band that we never really were that big from the beginning. And then, I left and joined Anthrax, and then, it was basically a period of nothingness. And then, we kind of resumed, and then I went back to Anthrax, and then I left Anthrax, and then, we've kind of finally completely resumed. But, I think that everybody that is a fan of the band or has been exposed to the band can feel like there's a lot of sincerity that comes from this group. There's just a lot of camaraderie between the band members. Everybody's been here for years. It's the same dudes, really. And there's always been this really optimistic, cool vibe with Armored Saint, no matter what. And so I think that continues on here, us guys in our 50s and in 2017, and making music that we're proud of, and we feel like it stands tall. And so, you can never really determine how your popularity is going to be, because it's just a lot of that is out of your hands. But you can control the quality of what you're doing, and I think we do that really well. And I think that we make sure that we make music that we totally believe in it. As a matter of fact, people are asking about another record, and I'm like, it's as long as the music's great and we can believe in the songs, and we think, yeah, this is awesome, and it has to be really awesome, because we really think Win Hands Down was over the top. So then we'll do it. I don't really think, okay, we got some momentum, let's make another record, and it doesn't really matter if it's that great, maybe a couple good songs. Nah, that's not what I want to do. I want to make a record that's awesome, because that's really the thing that lives forever, is the record. So you got to make sure that the record is of the highest quality. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, we got this live record.
Yeah, absolutely, and I totally feel the same way. I mean, as much as I would love to be able to say that there's a new Armored Saint album coming out this year or next year, I would rather have a new album that all of you guys are proud of. You're proud of every song, perfect track listing, everything is just on fire, rather than, like you said, a couple good songs, a lot of filler, and all of that. I mean, again, like, it seems like the overall theme of the interview, quality over quantity.
Exactly. And, I'm fully aware that time is not necessarily, on our side in the terms of, our age, and, not to say that, we're old, because we're older. That's a diplomatic way of putting it. But we're obviously we're not a bunch of guys in our 20s and 30s, but I do feel like, it's funny, because there is some fire here with this band, especially live, and I think that'll continue. And I think that everything that we do, as long as we truly believe in it, and that's kind of how we always have been, really. Armored Saint's a funny band, because we never really were part of a genre that was a movement or was a trendy thing. We kind of were always on our own island, and believe me, at times it was frustrating, especially in our youth and in the early days, because we weren't a hair metal band, but we had hair. Not anymore. Some of us. We weren't a thrash band, but we were powerful. So, but we kind of our own thing, and we were from LA, but we didn't sound like the LA sound. So we kind of, it's funny, is for a while we were just like, well, we almost had like an identity issue. But as time went by, I think we finally felt comfortable with that and said, okay, well, we're us. And that's all we ever wanted to be anyway, is create our own sound and do our own thing and not worry too much about what everybody's doing around us. So I think that state of mind, that feeling is just a continuation. That's how we feel more so than ever.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, you can easily go with trends and possibly make it gigantic huge, but once that trend goes away, you could fall just as hard as when you rose. But when you stay true to yourself and you make the music that you want to make, and slowly over time really build that fan base, you're able to make such amazing albums like Win Hands Down, which is almost my favorite Armored Saint album ever made. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love everything from start to finish on it, and it's great to see that with you guys coming back to full force like that, that the power is still there.
Yeah, so that's the mindset, and it's a good mindset to have. We have a lot of records, so not that we're like going to be lazy, because I do like the idea of a challenge of writing songs, and I actually feel like we still write songs really well, and luckily for me, I feel like I have a good knack for writing lyrics, and I think stuff kind of happens easily in a natural way, so I feel good about that. It's not like okay, let's write some songs. Oh man, what are we gonna do? Where do we go? Everything happens when it happens organically. It feels like it happens best that way, at least for us. I think that we've had a lot of success with that lately. So, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. It's to me, I just embrace it. It's all positive, and if we don't have a new record in a year, doesn't mean we can't go out and play some shows. We have a bunch of old records, and I always like trying to change up the set and playing some different songs that we haven't played in years, and I'm sure fans would be excited about that. So, there's a lot still to do.
So, with that said, hopefully with more touring, I mean, I'd love to be able to see you guys hit Minnesota. I mean, it's a lot easier than the 16-hour drive to Prog Power for me. But what are the songs that you like singing now, or would like to see come into the set?
Well, it's funny, Minnesota. Is that what so you live in Minneapolis or St. Paul or what?
About 15 minutes from Minneapolis.
Yeah, so we haven't played Minneapolis. I think the last time might have been Symbol Salvation, 91, maybe, I think. So yes, I've been saying for a while now we need to get to Minneapolis, because I love Minneapolis. The classic Armored Saint Hell on Wheels tour that was filmed on MTV was from Minneapolis.
That's right.
From Third Avenue. So, I mean, we have a strong association with that city, and always had great shows there. So we're way overdue. Let me point that out and say I'm sorry it's been so long. So hopefully we'll get there eventually here. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. When I'm preparing myself for shows and or tour, I sing to Armored Saint. I don't want to always sing to Armored Saint. I was telling somebody earlier, I was doing an interview with, we were talking about a couple of records of various bands, and it was like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. And I was like, I like to sing to those records when I'm not having to sing to Armored Saint, because just to keep my pipes up and chops up, and I don't want to honestly, I don't need to sing "Can You Deliver" in a rehearsal setting ever again for the rest of my life. But sometimes I need to, just from the physical aspect of it, because there's a certain way I sing it. That being said, I try to mix up the set. We did a lot on the Queensryche thing that we just did. I was telling people that we were the support act. So on a nightly basis, you play maybe 9 to 10 songs when you're the support act. And we ended up doing on that tour 21 different songs, which I thought was really impressive, considering the fact that several of those songs are ones that we played nightly anyway. March of the Saint, Win Hands Down. There's certain songs, Rain of Fire, that you just kind of have to play every night. So we really mix it up, and I love that. I really think it's cool to just change it up your set and to play different material and have the fan go, "Whoa, I can't believe you're playing that song. You haven't played it before on this tour." And so you have to be prepared, certainly, and it does force us to learn a lot of songs and to be ready. And but I dig it. I couldn't tell you. I've been singing songs to get prepared for this British run that we're doing at the end of next month. But I don't know. The band's asked me for a set list, and I haven't come up with it yet, because I'm still kind of flirting with maybe some different songs to bring into the set again. So I don't know yet. I don't know. Once we do this run, then you can look back at setlistfm.com and see what songs we played on those shows and go, oh, they haven't played that in a while. So, but we certainly will play a couple songs we haven't played for a while.
Oh, awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, considering all the great touring that's been going on, I mean, whether it's a headlining show like at Prague Power or opening for Queensryche or this upcoming UK run, what do you have the most joy in doing with Armored Saint? Do you like opening for a band with a bigger crowd base, or do you like doing that full headlining run?
I mean, it just depends, you know. I think we embrace whatever the situation is. Certainly, you can't complain about playing in front of a band, especially an amazing band like Queensryche, and playing in front of a lot of people that maybe don't know you or have never seen you. So their first exposure to you. So that's cool. It's challenging. You, at the end, want to win them over. You have to feel like, you're exposing yourself to people that don't know you, perhaps, which is great. So that's an awesome thing. Obviously, playing to all your loyal fans in a headline setting is great too, because you know that the energy is just going to be top notch. So you can't ever feel bad about that. And then festivals are awesome too, because you're playing in front of this giant crowd that you have to win over and sea of people, and it's always just a strong energy. So I think it just depends. Certainly it's nice when you have your own gear, and well, for me, I'm a singer. It's a little easier. Just, hey, give me a mic. Although monitors is something that can be sketchy, I have in-ears that I've started using, and it's probably way overdue because it should help preserve my voice, because sometimes you just can't rely on monitor systems being good. But, I think that's hard for the guys in my band, because, we're going to do this UK run, and it's probably going to be a different set of gear nightly. So that's not something everybody's too stoked about, but they go, hey, this is what I got, let's make it work. And, we rise to the challenge. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and that's the right attitude to have, too. I mean, it always sucks when you're not able to use your own equipment, because you never know the quality of the equipment. You don't know how used up it is, or if anything's about to break apart or anything like that. But when you don't show the fans that, when you just go out there and just rock everything just like it's your own equipment, just like you're just owning the show, I mean, you guys are having the right attitude about that, and it's great to see that still.
Well, it's for us, a lot of the scenario is either do that or not play. And so we want to play. We want to go do these places. We want to go places, especially that we've never been. So, it's either that option or not do it, and we'd rather do it. So, you might grin and bear it. I feel bad a lot for Gonzo, because a lot of the time he's playing on different kids, and it's a challenge. And he's a trooper, and he always rises up and does it and kicks ass. And but it's not easy, especially when you're this cymbal is different, the stand is broken. He's always dealing with a lot of different scenarios, and it can be frustrating. But in the end, he's always positive, and he does his best and tears it up.
So, with the amazing career that you've had with so many bands that you've been a part of, either guesting in or full-fledged member or live appearances with, what was the most challenging aspect for you when it comes to being a singer? Like, was there any situation where you really felt that challenge, or were you able to embrace everything that you've been a part of?
A couple challenges. One is probably still being able to pull off old stuff that I was much younger when I sang now, because my voice is different, and it's deeper, and it's older, and a little more wear and tear, although I think my voice is actually better than ever. But when I was 22, and it sounded different. So that's a challenge. Certainly, when I joined Anthrax and replacing Joey Belladonna, who's an awesome frontman and great singer in his own right, and obviously made all those songs back in the day, his own. That was challenging, convincing people that I belong there and singing them with the integrity that they were written with. That was it. Sometimes just performing live when maybe you're not at your most your healthiest, perhaps. We did with the tour in Queensryche at the last couple shows. I was ill, And it's for a singer, when you when you have to sing sick, it's pretty much one of the worst things you could experience, because you just can't, sometimes you just literally can't do it, because you just physically are impaired. But you still go out and, you go and give it your all. And, sometimes I know when I'm not my best voice, but I'm figuring I'm just going to show it with other aspects of my body and mind, and just show that, hey, I still love it, and give it my all. I think that's always a big challenge. So, there's been a lot.
Well, getting a little bit into Anthrax, I mean, not going too far into it, but I just want to say back the week before it came out, I remember hearing on the radio an edit of What Doesn't Die. And the next Tuesday, I went out and bought We Come For You All, and that was my first experience being able to hear you sing. And I've always had an attachment to the 4 studio Anthrax albums that you made of the original material, just being addicted to what you did, and then going out and discovering Armored Saint from there, and picking up Symbol of Salvation, and just like really discovering all the aspects of what you can do. And that's what really turned me to be one of your... you were always been one of my favorite singers because of that, because of the versatility of what you could do, from like the heaviness of like Black Dahlia on Anthrax to Last Train Home to everything in between. I mean, I love the versatility of what you do and the amazing voice that you still have.
Oh, thank you, Josh. That's very nice to hear. Obviously, yeah, I say Black Dahlia to Last Train Home. That's pretty different. So it's funny you say that. Yeah, and I love those songs, both of them. So, I thrive on diversity and being versatile, and I feel like I've done that through my life, and as a singer, that is. And I try to in other aspects of my life as well. Not always achieve that, but to me, that's really been one of the most things I've been one of the most biggest challenges and things I strive for is to just show that you have a lot of range, and not necessarily vocally, because there's people that have way bigger ranges than I do. I don't even know what I have, to tell you that. I probably don't want to know, because then I'd be like, oh, that's it. But as far as just sounding unique, bringing to the table what is required from that song, that to me is the most important thing, and to just sound sincere, those are all the things that I strive to do and want to do as a singer and as a songwriter and lyricist and stuff. So I'm proud of what I've done. Not every song, there's some clunkers, no doubt about it, but overall, when I look back on my past, I'm pretty proud of most stuff. Something like What Doesn't Die, that was an awesome tune. So it's when it's all said and done, I want to be somebody who can smile about what I've done, and I think I could do that. I feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah, and again, just like it feels like the natural theme of the interview of quality versus quantity. I mean, yeah, I'd never heard you do black metal screams. I haven't heard you do the King Diamond falsettos, but you have your own range, which is just perfect for the bands that you've been a part of. I mean, Armored Saint, Anthrax, guest appearances, live shows, all that great stuff that you've been a part of. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you don't want to say what clunkers you've had, but I might disagree with that, but, that's for interpretation. But, it's just like, you have your voice, you still have it, and you're doing it the best that you can, and it still sounds amazing.
Well, and that's what you do. I think for me, that's what I try to do best, is focusing on what I can and can't do. Like, I've never had a great falsetto, so I never really tried to do that. I wish I did, but I don't. So, I limit doing that or eliminate it completely. And I think that's what's made me a better singer than ever now, is just being able to do what I do best and focusing on that. Obviously I can't sing as high as I used to sing, and nor do I probably want to, but like Raising Fear, I just sing so high on that. I was like, what was I doing? Like, I think I was like, had to hold my nuts throughout the whole recording of that record. But, you just kind of focus on what you can and can't do. And it's funny, I love sports, and I'm always, equating music and sports and showing the parallels between the two. And it's kind of like that, whoever, Tom Brady, probably, well, he was never a good scrambler, but, you kind of focus on what you can. When you get older, you maybe change your game a little bit to adjust to where you're at then. And because you won't be the same as you were when you were 25, but you can still be good in a different way. And that's kind of how I look at it. So, I don't know. That's my silly metaphor.
Well, it's a perfect way to describe it, and probably a great ending note for the interview as well, although I probably have another week and a half worth of questions I could ask you, but I'll let you be able to continue on with your day. But thank you very much for taking the time to do this as one of my favorite singers, one of my favorite frontmen, a part of some of my favorite albums of all time. It's been a complete and utter honor to talk to you. Before we're done here... Oh, not a problem.
You've been very nice, very kind. Appreciate that. Thanks for all the support through the years. Doing things like this, having this kind of discussion, and seeing your passion behind it. That's what it's all about, brother. That's the name of the game right there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I'm about. I mean, I don't like clickbait. I don't like smear campaigns. I just like having real, honest, fun discussions. I mean, that's so much better to me.
Yeah, well, you did. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Oh, not a problem. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to mention or plug that I haven't mentioned yet?
Not really. We're focusing on the matter at hand. I'm not somebody who thinks too far in advance, quite frankly. I'm barely thinking about what's happening at the end of the day today. So, get the live record, which is great. And we got these shows in Britain. We are doing a couple shows in the Midwest at the end of May. And you can see the same website to see where we're playing, Chicago being one. I was trying to get a date in Minneapolis. I thought it was going to happen, and then it didn't. But we are playing a couple shows in upper Wisconsin, so maybe you can make one of those. And it should be fun. And still a lot of unfinished business. We'll get to it. When, I don't know, but somehow, some way, we'll get to it.